every new day is like a quiet invitation to grow. The Buddha taught that true self-improvement does not come from forcing ourselves into rigid ideals or chasing some perfect version of who we think we should be. Instead, it begins by returning to what is already here, our own mind, our own breath, and the choices we make in the small, ordinary moments of daily life. Think about it. When you wake up in the morning, you are not just starting another day on the calendar. You are standing at a doorway, choosing how you will step into the world. Will you rush through it, letting habits and distractions pull you around? Or will you pause, even for a moment, to recognize that this day is a gift, one that will never come again? The truth is, transformation doesn't usually happen in grand dramatic moments. It happens in the silence before the sun rises, in the way we speak to ourselves before anyone else has spoken to us, in the small decisions that seem almost invisible. And yet, these little choices slowly shape the entire direction of our lives. When you greet the morning with awareness, with gratitude, with even a single mindful breath, you are training your mind to see life differently. You are teaching yourself to notice the beauty that is often overlooked, the softness of light, the sound of stillness, the fact that you are alive and breathing. This is not about being perfect. It's about remembering that every day holds a chance to begin again. And here's something powerful. You don't have to wait for some future achievement to feel peace. You don't need to have everything figured out. What you need is the willingness to come back to yourself, right here, right now. In this space of awareness, even the smallest actions, like how you start your morning, become acts of awakening. So today, as you step into your own life, remember this. Growth doesn't demand pressure. It asks for presence. Don't force yourself into becoming someone else. Instead, allow yourself to return again and again to the person you already are, beneath the noise. Because in that return, in that gentle awareness, you discover the true beginning of transformation. 1. Build a mindful morning. Let's talk about the morning. Most of us begin our day in a rush. The alarm goes off, we grab our phones, and suddenly we're pulled into emails, news, and the noise of the world before we've even taken our first breath with awareness. And then we wonder why the rest of the day feels scattered, heavy, or stressful. But here's the truth. The way you begin your morning sets the tone for everything that follows. If you start with chaos, chances are the day will carry that same restless energy. But if you begin with stillness and presence, you are already giving yourself a foundation of peace. The Buddha often emphasized the power of mindfulness in the present moment. What better time to practice than the very first moments of the day? Instead of rushing, what if you paused even for just 2 minutes to be with yourself before the world demands your attention? Building a mindful morning doesn't have to be complicated. It could be as simple as sitting up in bed, closing your eyes, and taking 3 slow breaths. With each inhale, remind yourself, this is a new beginning. With each exhale, release the weight of yesterday. That's it. Just 3 breaths. But they can shift your entire state of mind. Some people like to take a short walk outside, feeling the cool air and listening to the quiet sounds of the morning. Others may light a candle, sip tea slowly, or read a few lines of something inspiring. It doesn't matter what the practice looks like. What matters is that you begin your day not by reacting, but by choosing. Because here's the secret. A mindful morning is not just about feeling calm in those first minutes. It's about training your mind to carry that calmness into the rest of the day. It's like planting a seed of peace in the morning and then letting it grow through every interaction, every challenge, every decision. And I want you to notice something. When you give yourself this space, you don't lose time, you gain it. You enter the day with more clarity, more focus, and more energy. You respond instead of react. You see opportunities instead of obstacles. The same 24 hours feel lighter, more spacious, simply because you chose to begin with mindfulness. So tomorrow morning, before you reach for your phone, before you rush into your to-do list, give yourself the gift of presence. Even if it's just a few breaths, let it be a reminder. This is your life. This is your moment. This is your chance to begin again. A mindful morning may seem small, but it is the first brick that builds the foundation of a strong and peaceful day. And when you stack these mornings together, day after day, you are quietly building a life grounded in balance, awareness, and joy. 2. Set one powerful intention. Most of us wake up and immediately let our minds scatter in 100 different directions. We think about the emails we need to answer, the bills we have to pay, the conversations we're worried about, and the endless tasks that fill our calendar. It's no wonder that by mid-morning we already feel drained. Our energy is being pulled everywhere, but focused nowhere. This is where the power of setting a single intention comes in. Instead of carrying the weight of 10 different goals, what if you chose just one guiding principle for the day? Think of it like a compass. A compass doesn't take you to 10 different destinations. It points you in one clear direction. With that direction, every step becomes meaningful. Your intention doesn't have to be complicated. In fact, the simpler, the better. It could be something like, today I will practice patience, or today I will speak kindly, or even today I will stay present no matter what comes my way. This single thought becomes the thread that ties your entire day together. Here's why this matters. The human mind naturally gets distracted. Without direction, it jumps from one thing to the next, often leaving us feeling restless and unsatisfied. But when you begin the day with one clear intention, you create an anchor. No matter what happens, whether the day brings stress, challenges, or surprises, you can return to that anchor again and again. Imagine you've chosen patience as your intention. Later, when someone cuts you off in traffic or speaks to you harshly, you might feel anger rising. But then you remember, today, my intention is patience. That memory softens your reaction. It reminds you that you have a choice. And in that moment, you are no longer being pulled around by emotions, you are guiding them. This practice is not about perfection. You will forget. You will drift. But that's okay. The purpose of intention is not to control every moment. It is to remind you of what matters most. Every time you remember and return, you are training your mind, little by little, to live with more awareness and depth. Think of it like planting a seed in the morning. That seed doesn't instantly become a tree, but throughout the day, with your attention, it grows roots. It shapes how you respond, how you think, and how you treat others. And over time, as you repeat this practice day after day, your intentions shape the landscape of your life. So tomorrow, instead of starting the day scattered, pause for just one breath. Ask yourself, what is one intention I want to carry with me today? Let it be simple, let it be clear, and let it guide you like a compass. Because when your energy flows in one direction, you stop living on the surface of life and begin to live with depth, purpose, and peace. 3. Break patterns, not yourself. Have you ever noticed how easy it is to feel stuck? Maybe you've said to yourself, why do I keep making the same mistakes? Or, why can't I seem to change? In those moments, it's tempting to blame yourself, to believe that something is wrong with who you are. But here's the truth. There is nothing wrong with you. What often holds us back is not who we are, it's the patterns we've fallen into. The Buddha reminded us that life is a series of causes and conditions. When the same conditions repeat, the same results appear. In other words, if we keep following the same habits, we will keep living the same story. So instead of attacking ourselves with blame, the wiser path is to simply notice, what pattern am I repeating? Maybe you always reach for your phone when you feel lonely. Maybe you shut down when someone disagrees with you. Maybe you rush through your day without ever pausing to breathe. These patterns are not who you are. They are simply habits the mind has learned. And the beautiful thing about habits is that they can be changed. Breaking a pattern doesn't always mean making a huge leap. Sometimes it's as small as pausing for one mindful breath instead of reacting. It could mean taking a walk instead of scrolling on your phone. It could mean choosing to listen instead of defending yourself in an argument. These may look like small shifts, but they are acts of incredible power because each one creates a new pathway in your mind. Think of it like water running through a field. Over time, the water carves deep grooves, and it naturally flows in those directions. Our habits work the same way. But the moment you choose a different response, even a small one, you begin carving a new groove. With time, the water flows differently. With time, your life begins to flow differently too. The key is compassion. If you slip back into an old pattern, don't beat yourself up. That only strengthens the cycle. Instead, smile at the moment you notice. Awareness itself is already a victory, because you cannot change what you cannot see. Every moment of awareness is like holding a lantern in a dark room. It shows you the way forward. So the next time you feel stuck, remember this. You don't need to break yourself. You only need to break the pattern. Be gentle. Choose one small change. And trust that each conscious choice is reshaping not just your day, but the direction of your life. Because freedom is not about becoming someone else. It's about loosening the grip of old patterns so you can return to the person you were always meant to be. 4. Protect your energy, not just your time. We often hear people say, "I just don't have enough time." But if we're honest, it's not really time that we're missing. What we're truly lacking is energy. Think about it. You could have the entire day free, but if you're exhausted, distracted, or mentally drained, that time is empty. Nothing meaningful comes from it. On the other hand, even just 1 hour of focused, calm energy can be more powerful than 10 hours of running on empty. That's why protecting your energy is just as important, if not more important, than protecting your time. The Buddha taught about the importance of mindfulness, of being present with the body and the mind. In the same way, we must learn to pay attention to the rhythms of our own energy. Notice how your body feels in the morning compared to the afternoon. Notice when your mind is sharp and when it feels dull. Instead of fighting against these rhythms, what if you began to work with them? For example, if you know your mind is most clear in the early hours, that might be the best time for your most important tasks or quiet reflection. If you tend to feel heavy after lunch, perhaps that's the time for lighter activities, movement, or even a short walk. By honoring your natural flow of energy, you stop treating yourself like a machine that must perform the same way every hour of the day. You begin to live in harmony with yourself. And here's something else to consider. Energy is not just physical, it's emotional and spiritual too. The people you spend time with, the content you consume, even the thoughts you repeat in your mind, these all shape your energy. If you surround yourself with negativity, constant noise, or endless distractions, your energy gets scattered. But if you choose wisely, if you give your attention to what uplifts you, if you practice gratitude, if you spend time in quiet, or with people who inspire peace, then your energy becomes stronger, clearer, more grounded. This is why protecting your energy is also protecting your life. Because it's not the hours on the clock that shape your experience. It's the quality of presence you bring into those hours. So, I want to invite you to start noticing your energy as you move through the day. Ask yourself, when do I feel most alive? What drains me? What restores me? and then choose to honor those answers. Protect your energy with the same care you would protect something precious because it island. Time is finite, yes, but energy is what gives that time meaning. When you learn to guard your energy, to nurture it, and to direct it with intention, you discover a deeper level of freedom. You're no longer racing against the clock. You're living fully, with presence, in the hours you already have. 5. Audit your environment without mercy. Have you ever noticed how the environment you live in quietly shapes the way you feel and think? Sometimes, it's not the big challenges in life that drain us, but the little things we allow into our space: clutter, noise, endless notifications, or even the company of people who leave us feeling unsettled. If we truly want peace of mind, we must learn to audit our environment without mercy. That may sound harsh, but think about it. Your surroundings are not neutral. They are constantly influencing you, either nourishing your well-being or slowly draining it. Start with something simple. Look around the room you spend most of your time in. Is it filled with objects you no longer use? Stacks of things you keep promising yourself you'll organize someday? Every item left unattended is not just taking up physical space, it's quietly taking up mental space too. By clearing your environment, you're also clearing your mind. A clean, uncluttered room becomes a sanctuary, a place where your thoughts can rest instead of scatter. Now, let's move to the digital world. Our phones and computers have become extensions of our minds, but they're often filled with noise. Constant notifications, endless scrolling, emails that don't matter. All of this scatters our focus and robs us of presence. When you silence unnecessary alerts, unfollow accounts that bring more anxiety than joy, or set limits on how much time you spend online, you're not just protecting your time, you're protecting your inner calm. You're choosing what deserves your attention, and that choice is powerful. And perhaps most importantly, consider the people around you. Relationships are one of the strongest influences on your inner world. Ask yourself who in your life uplifts you, inspires you, and makes you feel more alive, and who leaves you drained, anxious, or doubtful of yourself. Choosing to step back from toxic relationships doesn't mean you don't care. It means you're honoring your peace, your growth, and your well-being. The Buddha once taught that the company we keep is half of the spiritual path. In other words, who we allow close to us shapes who we become. Auditing your environment is an act of compassion for yourself. It's about creating conditions where clarity, peace, and gratitude can naturally arise. Because when your outer world is in harmony, your inner world can finally breathe. So today, take a quiet moment to look at your surroundings. What needs to go? What needs to be simplified? And what relationships truly deserve a place in your heart? The more intentional you are with your environment, the freer your mind will become. Protecting your peace begins not with grand changes, but with these simple, mindful choices. And once you make them, you'll notice the noise quiets, your energy returns, and your spirit feels lighter. 6. Discipline as self-love. When people hear the word discipline, they often imagine something rigid, harsh, or even punishing. But what if I told you that true discipline is not about control at all? It's actually an act of love. Think about it this way. When you care about someone deeply, you don't let them sink into habits that harm them. You encourage them to eat well, to rest, to grow, to live in a way that supports their happiness. So why should it be any different with yourself? Discipline is simply how you show yourself that same love and respect. Every small choice you make, whether to wake up early or hit snooze, whether to nourish your body with real food or reach for something quick, whether to scroll endlessly or spend a few moments in silence, each of these choices shapes your life. Discipline is what helps you choose the path that aligns with who you truly want to be, not just what feels easy in the moment. Now, many of us see discipline as something we owe to others, to our job, to society, to expectations. But the most powerful discipline is not about impressing anyone else. It's about honoring your own values. It's the quiet decision to move your body because you want to feel alive, to meditate because you want clarity, to rest because you know your soul needs it. These practices aren't punishments. They are gifts you give to yourself. And here's something we often forget. Discipline is freedom. Without it, we become slaves to impulse, to distraction, to old patterns that keep us stuck. With it, we gain the freedom to live with intention, to rise above habits that pull us away from peace. The Buddha often spoke about the middle path, a life not of extremes, but of balance and wisdom. Discipline is the way we walk that path, step by step, with kindness and mindfulness. You might ask, but isn't discipline hard? Of course it can be. In the beginning, it may feel uncomfortable, just like stretching a muscle that has been stiff for too long. But over time, it becomes natural, even joyful. You begin to realize that every act of discipline is a message. I matter. My life matters. My peace matters. So the next time you resist building a healthy habit, try to see it differently. Don't ask, do I have the willpower for this? Ask, do I care about myself enough to do this? That shift changes everything. True discipline isn't about forcing yourself into a mold. It's about becoming the person you already know, deep down, that you're meant to be. And what could be more loving than that? 7. Practice gratitude daily. There is a quiet power that often goes unnoticed in our busy lives. It doesn't require wealth, talent, or status. It simply asks us to pause and notice what's already here. That power is gratitude. Think about the first moments of your day. Maybe it's the warmth of sunlight slipping through your window, the sound of birds outside, or even the comfort of a morning cup of coffee. These things seem small, almost ordinary. But when you take a breath and truly appreciate them, something shifts inside. Suddenly, the morning is no longer routine. It becomes a gift. Gratitude has this remarkable ability to transform how we see the world. When we focus on what we don't have, our mind feels restless, always chasing, always lacking. But when we turn our attention to what we already hold, the relationships, the health, the opportunities, even the lessons from our struggles, our heart softens. We begin to live from a place of fullness, not emptiness. The Buddha once taught that a mind of appreciation is the foundation for joy. It doesn't mean ignoring life's challenges. It means learning to see that even within difficulties, there are reasons to be thankful. The strength we discover in ourselves, the compassion we receive from others, the chance to grow beyond what we thought possible. Gratitude doesn't erase suffering, but it gives us the strength to carry it with greater ease. And here's the beautiful part. Gratitude doesn't have to be dramatic. It's not about grand gestures or long lists. It's about small daily moments of awareness, whispering thank you before your meal, smiling at the stranger who held the door open for you, remembering to appreciate the body that carries you through another day. Each act of gratitude nourishes the mind, like drops of water feeding a seed. Over time, those seeds bloom into joy and peace. You might wonder, but what if I don't feel like there's much to be grateful for right now? That's exactly when the practice matters most. Gratitude is not about pretending everything is perfect. It's about shifting your focus, training your mind to notice light even when clouds fill the sky. And once you begin, you'll realize how much beauty has been waiting for you all along. So today, I invite you to try something simple. Before you fall asleep tonight, recall just 3 things you're grateful for. Not big achievements, just 3 small, real moments from your day. Do this daily and watch how it slowly rewires your heart. Because when gratitude becomes a way of living, life stops feeling like a race to win and starts feeling like a miracle to enjoy. 8. Reflect before you rest. At the end of the day, when the noise quiets and the world slows down, we're often left alone with our thoughts. For many of us, that's when the mind starts replaying mistakes, regrets, or unfinished tasks. But what if those final moments before sleep became something different? Not a time of restlessness, but a practice of peace. This is the gift of reflection before you rest. Imagine this. You lie down, close your eyes, and instead of judging yourself for everything that went wrong today, you simply observe. You look at your actions, your words, your choices, not with harshness, but with kindness, like holding up a mirror, not to criticize your reflection, but to understand it. Reflection is not about keeping score, it's about awareness. Maybe you notice a moment where you were impatient. Instead of saying, "I failed again," you might whisper, "I see this. Tomorrow, I can soften." That simple shift from judgment to compassion changes everything. The Buddha taught that the mind becomes what it repeatedly dwells upon. If we end our day clinging to regret or anger, those seeds grow overnight. But if we end our day with gentle awareness, acknowledging both our struggles and our efforts, we plant seeds of wisdom and resilience. And here's something powerful. Reflection also means letting go. The truth is, you don't need to carry today's weight into tomorrow. The conversation you regret, the task you left unfinished, the worry that keeps circling, release it. The day is complete. Its lessons are already yours. You don't have to hold the burden any longer. Try this small ritual tonight. Before you fall asleep, close your eyes and take a slow breath. Ask yourself 3 questions. What did I learn today? What can I forgive myself for? And what gentle intention can I carry into tomorrow? Your answers don't have to be grand. They can be simple. Maybe you learned patience while waiting in traffic. Maybe you forgive yourself for being distracted during a conversation. Maybe your intention is just to smile once more tomorrow than you did today. That's enough. These small reflections, repeated nightly, slowly shape a life of awareness, growth, and inner peace. Think of it like polishing a mirror. Each night, you wipe away the dust of the day so you can see yourself more clearly. Over time, what you'll find in that mirror is not just mistakes or flaws, but strength, compassion, and wisdom unfolding. So tonight, as you lay your head on the pillow, remember this. The day is done, you are enough, and tomorrow is a new canvas. Reflection before rest is not an ending, it is a gentle beginning. Summary of key points and reflections. As we come to the end of this reflection, let's pause and gather the threads of what we've explored together. Growth does not happen through rushing or doing more. It happens in the quiet choices we make, choosing presence over distraction, gratitude over lack, kindness over judgment. Think of the practices we've walked through. Beginning your day with mindfulness is like planting a steady root. Setting one clear intention gives direction, like a compass guiding you through storms. Breaking old patterns frees you from the weight of the past. Protecting your energy ensures you don't just survive the day you live it fully. Then there's your environment, the space and people you surround yourself with. They shape your mind more than you realize. Discipline, when seen as an act of love rather than control, becomes a gift you give to yourself. Gratitude, practiced daily, shifts your heart from scarcity to abundance. And reflection before rest allows you to release the day, gently preparing the soil for tomorrow's growth. These are not grand, dramatic changes. They are small, conscious acts that ripple outward in powerful ways. Together, they remind us that self-improvement is not about chasing a perfect version of ourselves. It is about returning again and again to the clarity, peace, and freedom that have always been within us. So, perhaps tonight, As you close your eyes, you can ask, which seed will I water tomorrow? Presence, gratitude, kindness? Remember, the smallest shift in awareness can change the course of your whole day. If this message touched your heart, I invite you to carry it forward. Share it with someone you love, someone who might need a gentle reminder of their own strength and peace. And if you'd like to walk further on this journey with us, you're welcome to join our community here at Buddha Wisdom, where each video is another step towards stillness, clarity, and joy. Thank you for being here, for listening with an open heart. May you rest tonight with ease. May your tomorrow be filled with light, and may your path always bring you closer to the freedom already alive within you.